Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Joining you as always is your host, Trent Yolden, and it is the preview episode. So join along as I preview all of the action coming up in round 21. Now, last round, bar the efforts of the last game with St Kilda, it was a pretty poor round. A lot of smashings happening, and yeah, it was a pretty poor round. So let's hope that we get a bit more action here in round 21. Without further ado, let's get into giving my tips and predictions for the upcoming round. Let's go. For Thursday night, we have got the rivalry that was built probably around that 2016 prelim final time when the Bulldogs went on their run in the final series. They knocked off the Giants by, I think it was 3 points. It was only a couple points in the prelim final. Unreal game, really hard-out game. And they've had some moments since then. Toby Green on, if you remember, Luke Dalhouse with the boots. Was it Luke Dalhouse or Caleb Down? I believe it was Luke Dalhouse. Then Bont with Callum Ward. So it's definitely a rivalry that you always tune into, but the Bulldogs and the Giants. So that is at Thursday night. Standalone game this week, as I'm recording this Wednesday, tomorrow night, at Marvel Stadium, 7:30 p.m. and it's 9th v 6. And we saw what the Giants did last week. So it just shows that second half of the Giants is so scary to any team coming up against them this late in the season. And the Bulldogs, while have smashed teams that are below them, have really struggled when they've come up against a top 8 team and someone that when a test is really put at them. So they'll be hoping to prove this test and get it right. The Giants will be without Toby Green after getting a 1-week suspension for his hit on Isaac Heaney. And the Bulldogs are actually favourite in this game, being at Marvel. So they're a $1.48 favourite to $2.75. That's via points bet on the ESPN Footy Tips app, which I tip from in the Up the Guts tipping competition. But I think it's going to be a really good game. Obviously, the rivalry is never one you can gloss over. You always tune into this one. I think this is a much better Thursday night game to watch. Part of me wants to go to the Bulldogs because it's at Marvel, but I'm really liking the way the Giants are playing lately, and so I'm going to go with the GWS Giants this one. Margin-wise, I'm going to go by 13 points, I think. And then this week, we finally got a standalone game on the Friday night, 7:40 p.m. at the Adelaide Oval. It is the Adelaide Crows v Hawthorn. Now, I think this is a really big test for Hawthorn because Adelaide, sitting second on the ladder, they've been unreal this year. Flag premiership contender. And at home on the Adelaide Oval, they're so hard to beat. The Hawks have got some really good wins lately. I don't think it was that convincing against Carlton, but they were still well on top. Obviously, the coming back of Mitch Lewis and Cole Shadir really causes questions in their forward line now, how they're going to play it, which is good. It's good problems to have, really. Dylan Moore's had a really good past couple of weeks, playing a bit higher up the ground, 27 disposals he had last week. But something about this Crows side, with Jordan Dawson through the middle, Isaac Rankin forward mid. You got Josh Worrell down back. Jake Saligo through that midfield. Ben Keys is an absolute star player, and he's just someone you'd love to play alongside. I'm going to be going with the Crows purely because it's at home, so I'm going to be backing the Crows there. Then to kick off our Saturday footy, it is 1:20 p.m. at Marvel Stadium. It's Melbourne versus the West Coast Eagles, so it's 13th v 18th, and we know what happened last week to Melbourne at the same venue. Geez, they'll be having some haunting. But this is a game that they really should not be dropping. West Coast Eagles will be without Harley Reid for the remainder of the season. Probably one of the only players that really gets them going for that middle of the ground at the moment. It's probably a harsh call, but it's a reality call. So I think the Melbourne get this done quite comfortably. Next one I think is a pretty straightforward game too. It's the Gold Coast Suns v Richmond at People First Stadium. Now, Gold Coast, while they were disappointing against the Crows the week before, absolutely made a statement performance against the Brisbane Lions in the Q Clash. After Brisbane Lions for many years really bullying them in those type of games, they came out with a statement with a huge win. Matt Rowell was enormous. Noah Anders had an exceptional year. I believe he's second or third favourite for the Brownlows, had a great year, but Matt Rowell does the in and under work. Ben Long's had a really good year up forward. So the Gold Coast Suns are a threat, and I'm going to be going with the Suns in this game. Then we head over to the SCG for 4:15 p.m. action between the Swans and the Bombers. Now, the Swans had a great first half last week, and then I don't know what happened in that second half, but the Giants just ran over them, and they were absolutely phenomenal. It'll be interesting to see, but I think purely with the injuries that the Bombers have, Sydney Swans should do this quite comfortably. It'll be interesting to see the midfield battle, Merritt, your Heaney's, your Warner, all that type of stuff. But I'm really interested to see Sydney Swans forward struggled all year. Will Hayward did kick 3 last week, but they've got no real marquee key forward. So I think that's something they need to go look at in the trade period. It's probably a cop-out comment because it's pretty self-explanatory. But I think the Sydney Swans get this done at home. Now, the standalone Saturday night game, and it is a ripper. It's my Collingwood Magpies at the MCG coming up against last year's premiers, Brisbane Lions, 7:35 p.m. at the G. Now, the Brisbane Lions are going to want to respond after last week's efforts against Gold Coast in the Q Clash. Were absolutely dominating all aspects around the ground. And then Collingwood, after 2 losses in a row, jumped back with a win. It wasn't a very convincing win, but they might be bolstered power with some of the ins they got coming in this week. They possibly could be adding Bobby Hill back in after a stint in the coming back from personal reasons in the AFL, personal reasons, and then had a game in VFL where he kicked 3. Could be adding Jordan De Goey back into the side, and I'd imagine Scott Pendlebury comes back into this side as well. As for the Brisbane Lions, you can never write them off, but I think purely because it's at the G, I think the Collingwood get this done in not by much, but I'm saying maybe 2 goals, 1 or 2 goals. I think it'll go down to the wire. Then Sunday we kick it off at Marvel Stadium, a place where Saints will love to call home, and they've had a special moment there last week with the greatest last quarter comeback in AFL history. 40-odd points, was it 45, 43 points down at 3-quarter time, and came back in to beat Melbourne thanks to the new top 5 player in the competition, Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira. This up against North, obviously, they should get this done quite comfortably. It was interesting to see Zane Dersma play off the half-back one last week. I don't really like that. I don't think Zane Dersma will be around North. I think he'll seek a trade, possibly to an Essendon, to go play with his older brother, Xavier Dersma. And then obviously Willem Dersma is coming through the ranks as well. But I thought that was kind of weird. And the fact they played Charlie Comben forward was even more weirder. I just thought when they don't really have a key defender back there, other than Toby Pink, but you know what I mean. But I think the Saints should get this done quite comfortably, and I'm saying by 8 goals. Next game at GMHBA Stadium, 3:15 p.m, we have got the Cats v Port Adelaide. Now, it's 4th v 11th. The real question with this game is, how many is Jezza going to kick? Who's going to play on Jezza as we speak now? If I go back and have a look, who's been playing the key defensive roles lately for Port Adelaide? Let's go have a look. Who's really... I just clicked Freo by accident. Who's going to get Jezza? Well, it's probably going to have to be Aliir, isn't it? Or they normally like to play Aliir off, so it's probably going to have to be Zerk Thatcher. And geez, Jezza could fill his boots. Currently on 69 goals. Currently on 69 goals. There's talks about maybe he could possibly get to 100 with the games that he's got coming up. He could possibly fill his boots. I think the Cats will just feed him. And it's a game that they should win quite comfortably to prove why they are still a premiership threat coming into this. Do not write the Cats off. Any football fan would know we know better than to write the Cats off. We wrote them off a couple of years ago when they won the flag, saying they were too old, too slow, should be in the retirement village, blah, 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 and they went and won the flag. So we know better than to write off a Geelong Cats side. Chris Scott's still one of the best coaches in the competition, in my opinion. So I think the Cats get this done really convincingly. I'm saying 8 to 10 goals in this one as well. And to round out the round, it is Optus Stadium, 5:10 p.m. and it's the Fremantle Dockers v Carlton. It's 7v4. That's 4% that tippers tipped it instead of what I should be saying. 7th v 12th. Now, the big talk around Carlton this week is what's going to happen with Jack Silvani. There's obviously... He has had his head turned. It looks like Collingwood are the front runners for him at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. And I think Freo are just starting to find their feet. That win against Collingwood was a huge one for them, coming back second half of the last quarter, coming back from 4 goals down. And I think if they move the ball like that, they did in that last quarter, take the game on, have a bit of dare with their ball movement. They've got the kickers to do it. They got Hayden Young. They got Jordan Clark. They got Luke Ryan. So Luke Ryan and Jordan Clark down the back. Got Hayden Young, who they're playing mid-forward now. Caleb Sarong will do your grunt work in and around the contest. Andrew Brayshaw's a star. You got Luke Jackson, the wild card, whether he's playing in the ruck, whether he's playing up forward, whether he's playing as another big-body midfielder. And you got Shea Bolton. Shea Bolton is another wild card, but his impact centre forward of the ball is astronomical. And Sam Switkowski, he's pressuring the forward line. And Michael Frederick, I think he's had a really good year as well. So I think the Dockers will add another win to their tally quite comfortably against the Blues in the last round of, last game of the round. And they'll win this. I'm going to say 8 to 10 goals for this one. So let's just click submit while I'm here so I don't forget. And then we'll quickly go over my tips, previews, and my tips for the round. So, yes. So we'll go back to edit your tips. Thursday night, I'm going with the Giants by 13 points. It's obviously always a big rivalry between the Giants and the Bulldogs, so we're interested for that game. Friday night, I'm going with the Crows over the Hawks at the Adelaide Oval. They're just too hard to beat over at Adelaide Oval, and especially with the form the Crows are in. Saturday, I'm going with the Demons at Marvel over the Eagles. They would have got an absolute baking. Obviously, they had a board meeting called... I don't know if Simon Goodwin coaches after this year. Oops. Woo! Yeah, I don't know if Simon Goodwin coaches after this year. I think they should look to possibly move on. There needs to be some big changes going in there. But Melbourne to get the win there. Then I'm going with the Gold Coast Suns over the Tigers in a very convincing fashion at People First Stadium. Sydney over the Bombers at the SCG. Going with my Magpies over the Lions at the MCG in a Saturday night thriller. Sunday, I'm going with the Saints over North at their beloved Marvel Stadium. Geelong over Port at GMHBA Stadium. We are on Jezza Watch to see how much he kicks. I'm calling at least 6+ in this one. And we got to round out the round. I'm going with Fremantle over Carlton. Well, there's my tips, previews, and prediction coming into round 21. Thank you guys for listening. If you have enjoyed this episode and watching this on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss when we upload, and make sure to hit that subscribe button as we keep growing this channel and this community. If you're listening this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure to leave a like and comment, turn the notification bell so you don't miss whenever we upload, hit that follow button, and always remember, if you did enjoy this episode, share it off to a mate, and please leave a 5-star rating, as that does help push the show out there. Thank you guys for listening. Until next time, I'll see you guys then.